Imagine this. A grieving father at his son's grave, suddenly face to face with a little boy wearing the exact shirt his child was buried in. What happens next will leave you speechless. Welcome to Whisper Fable. Sir, your son gave me this shirt yesterday. What the boy revealed next shocked the millionaire. He came to the cemetery only to leave flowers. But what he found waiting at his son's grave left him speechless. A little boy wearing the same shirt his son was buried in. And when the boy whispered, "Sir, your son gave me this shirt yesterday," the millionaire's world stopped. At first, he thought it was a cruel trick until the boy said things no stranger could ever know. That moment would uncover the truth behind a single box of forgotten clothes and give a grieving father one last chance to feel alive again. Hold on. Here's the twist that changes everything. Before we dive deeper, let us know in the comments, what time is it and where are you watching from? Whisper Fable wants to hear from you. Let's start. The wind that afternoon was heavy, thick with the smell of cut grass and rain that never came. Ethan Cole stood alone by his son's grave, the engraved letters still sharp despite 2 years of weather. Liam Cole, beloved son, 2015 to 2021. He stared at the smiling photograph set into the marble. Liam's striped shirt, bright rainbow colors, mocked the dull gray around it. Ethan ran his hand through his perfectly trimmed hair, exhaling through clenched teeth. "Happy birthday, champ," he muttered. "You'd be 8 today." His voice cracked on the last word. He hated that he hadn't cried in over a year and he wasn't about to start again. Not here. Not where every whisper of wind sounded like his own guilt. He knelt to fix the flowers, the bouquet slipping from his hand. And that's when he heard footsteps behind him. Small, quick ones. "Hey!" He turned sharply, expecting a caretaker or a visitor. Instead, a small boy stood there, about 5, curly hair, brown skin, wearing that same striped shirt. For a heartbeat, Ethan's mind went blank. The same colors, the same pattern, even the same little tear under the collar. "What? What are you doing here?" His tone came out harsher than intended. The boy didn't flinch. He just stared at the tombstone, then at Ethan. "Sir, your son gave me this shirt yesterday." Ethan froze. "What did you say?" The boy pointed to the photo in the grave. "Him? The smiling boy? He gave it to me." Ethan's stomach twisted. He stepped forward, his voice sharp. "Who sent you? Where did you get that shirt?" The child blinked, confused. "He told me to wear it when I see you." Something inside Ethan snapped. "Stop lying. My son is—" He couldn't finish the word. His chest tightened. "Where's your mother? Is this some kind of sick joke?" The boy shook his head, eyes wide but steady. "I'm not lying, sir." 2 years earlier, Ethan Cole was everywhere. Business magazines, television interviews, billboards, the youngest tech millionaire in the state. Money had made him untouchable, or so he thought. He bought the big house, the imported car, the gated comfort that made him feel like he'd won. But all the money in the world couldn't stop a drunk driver at a red light. One crash, one scream, one tiny striped shirt soaked in blood. He'd stopped going to church, stopped talking to his wife, stopped believing in anything that couldn't be bought or controlled. When she left, she didn't even slam the door. She just whispered, "I can't live inside your silence anymore." Now, standing before this child, Ethan felt that same silence closing in again, thick, suffocating. "Where's your mom?" he demanded, gripping his tie to steady his shaking hand. The boy pointed vaguely toward the fence. "Over there. She was folding clothes." Ethan exhaled sharply. "And she told you to come talk to me?" "No, sir. He did? Who?" "The smiling boy." "Stop calling him that." Ethan's voice rose enough to startle the birds from a nearby tree. "My son is dead." The boy stepped back, eyes glassy but unafraid. "He said you don't talk to people anymore, that you're sad all the time. He told me to tell you he's okay." Ethan's hands trembled. "How do you even know my son's name?" "He told me," the boy whispered. "Enough," Ethan barked. "You're lying. Someone told you all this?" "No one did." Ethan turned away, running a hand down his face. Jesus Christ. When he looked back, the boy was touching the photo on the stone, tracing Liam's smile with his finger. "He said you used to bring him here after work," the boy said quietly, "and that you talk about cars and ice cream." Ethan's breath caught. That was true. No one knew that, not even his ex-wife. He crouched slowly. "Kid, what's your name?" "Noah." "Well, Noah," Ethan said through his teeth, "where'd you get that shirt?" Noah looked down at it as if seeing it for the first time. "From the box by the church. My mom said it came from the nice man's house." "What box?" "The one near the big building with the bell." "He said it was waiting for me." Ethan blinked hard, heart hammering. "What did you just say?" Noah met his eyes. "He said, 'Give this to the boy who still needs a dad.'" For the first time in 2 years, Ethan couldn't speak. His throat burned. He wanted to shout, to deny it, but his voice failed him. The boy tilted his head. "You look like him when you're sad." Ethan clenched his jaw. "You don't know what you're talking about." "Yes, I do," Noah said softly. He said, "You used to laugh, but you forgot how." Footsteps crunched behind them. A woman's voice calling, "Noah! What did I tell you about wandering off?" Snorts. Ethan turned to see her, a young mother, tired eyes, hands still dusted with detergent. She froze at the sight of him, then at the tombstone. "I'm sorry, sir," she said quickly. "He doesn't mean any harm." He saw the picture and said the boy looked familiar. Ethan's voice came out low. "Familiar?" "Yes," she said, confused. "He said he saw him in a dream last night." Ethan felt the world tilt. "A dream?" The woman nodded uneasily. "He kept saying the boy told him to come here." "I didn't think he'd actually run off." Noah tugged at her sleeve. "Mom, this is his dad." The woman's eyes softened. "Oh." She glanced at the gravestone, realization dawning. "I'm sorry for your loss." Ethan stared at them both, words tangled in his throat. Noah looked back at him one more time. He said, "I could keep the shirt, sir, but he also said it's yours if you want it back." Ethan's jaw tightened, eyes burning. He shook his head slowly. "Keep it, kid." The boy smiled faintly, the same small, crooked smile Liam used to give when he'd done something brave. And as they turned to leave, Ethan whispered to himself, barely audible, "Where did that box come from?" Ethan stood frozen long after the boy and his mother walked away. The wind tugged at his suit jacket, but he didn't feel it. His gaze was locked on that striped shirt, the one vanishing down the path, bright against the gray of the cemetery. When his driver finally approached, Ethan muttered, "Find out about that church. The one by the laundromat near the river." "Yes, sir." He didn't explain why. He couldn't. His chest hurt in a way he hadn't felt since the day they buried Liam. The next morning, he drove himself there. No chauffeur, no shield. The old stone church leaned against the clouds like it was tired of standing. Outside, a few volunteers were sorting donated clothes from cardboard boxes. "Excuse me," Ethan called, his voice rough. "Where do these come from?" One woman turned. "Mostly from community drop-offs, sir. Families clearing storage or—" She stopped, recognizing him. "Oh, Mr. Cole, the box we got last week came from your old estate. I think someone from your staff donated it months ago." Ethan's throat tightened. "My son's things." She hesitated, reading his face. "I believe so. Children's clothes, some toys. Beautiful items, really." He turned away, swallowing hard. The pieces started to fit. The church, the box, the shirt. Still, something didn't let him breathe easy. That boy, the way he spoke, the details no one could have known. The laugh, the smiling boy, the promise to tell his father he was okay. Ethan walked toward the back of the churchyard where the boxes were kept. The smell of dust and old cloth filled the air. One small wooden crate sat half open. A few toys left inside. A model car, a paper rocket, a photo. He picked up the photo. Liam, holding that same toy car, grin wide and pure. On the back, written in faded marker, were words Ethan had scribbled years ago. "Never stop smiling, kid. Even when I'm too busy to." He clenched the photo until his knuckles whitened. His voice cracked out loud. "God, I'm sorry." Later that afternoon, he found the woman and her son at the laundromat, folding clothes under the humming machines. The smell of detergent, warm air, and small life filled the narrow room. The mother turned quickly. "Mr. Cole?" He nodded awkwardly. "I wanted to thank you for yesterday." She frowned, unsure how to respond. "You don't need to thank us, sir. My boy sometimes says strange things. He didn't mean to upset you." Ethan's voice softened. He didn't upset me. He reminded me. Noah peeked out from behind the counter, clutching a toy truck. Hi, sir. Ethan knelt. Hey, buddy. The boy smiled shyly. Did you find the box? Ethan hesitated, then nodded. Yeah, it used to be mine. Or my son's. Noah touched the striped shirt gently. He said you'd come. Ethan exhaled, voice trembling. He said that, huh? The boy nodded. He said you'd be sad, but you'd know now. Ethan looked at the mother, tears gathering in his eyes. How does he know these things? She shook her head helplessly. I don't know, sir. He's just like that sometimes. He dreams. And when he wakes up, it feels real to him. Ethan swallowed hard. Maybe it is real. In its own way. He asked if they had a place to live. Grace admitted they were staying in a one-room shelter until she found stable work. Without a thought, Ethan said, I'll help. I couldn't accept, she began. It's not charity, he interrupted. It's what my son would have done if he'd grown up right. She went quiet, emotion rising in her throat. Thank you, Mr. Cole. Ethan turned to Noah. You ever been to the park near the lake? The boy shook his head. My son loved it there. You and your mom should come tomorrow. I'll show you where he used to race his toy cars. Noah's face lit up. Can I bring this shirt? Ethan smiled faintly. You better. It suits you more than it ever did me. The next day was sunny for the first time in weeks. At the park, Noah ran ahead on the grass, the striped shirt flashing in the light. His laughter carried on the wind, bright, fearless, alive. Ethan stood beside Grace, watching. He reminds me of him, he whispered. She smiled softly. Maybe that's why you met. Ethan nodded, eyes following the boy. Or maybe Liam knew I needed a reason to come back here. For the first time in years, he felt the weight in his chest lift. The laughter, the small footsteps, the sound of life moving again. It all felt like forgiveness. When Noah ran back panting, he held out a dandelion. He said to give you this, he grinned. Ethan blinked. Who? Noah's eyes softened. The smiling boy. Ethan's breath caught. What did he say? Noah's eyes softened. He said, tell Dad not to work too late tonight. Ethan's lips parted, but no words came. He just smiled, broken, grateful, and whole all at once. He took the dandelion gently. You can tell him I got the message. The boy nodded and ran off again. Ethan looked toward the sky, the sun warm on his face. Thanks, kid, he whispered. And for the first time in 2 years, Ethan Cole laughed, loud, real, and unrestrained. The kind of laugh that sounded like home. If this story moved you, take a second before you scroll. Hit like to honor every parent who's lost and learned to live again. Comment your thoughts. What would you do if this happened to you? And subscribe to Whisper Fable for more grounded emotional stories that remind us, even when life takes everything, love still finds a way to return.